And we are live. Hello, 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 hello. Good morning. It's very cold.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, I'm Dana from Big.Consulting.
And I'm Bridget from Shift One Degree. So today we're going to do something slightly different. We've decided that we're going to do tips on a Friday, and then on a Tuesday, we're going to use our expertise and as clients to each other. So in other words, what's going to happen today is I'm a personal development coach. And what Donna's going to do, she's going to help me from a marketing strategist perspective on what to do if you are somebody like me, and how do you grow your business, and how do you market your business, and how do you get more clients?
Yes, and this is something we're going to start doing more often. So if you have a business and you want some tips on the personal development side or on the marketing side, so this is the time for you to reach out to us, and we're going to give you free tips on that. You can do a session with us here live and get it.
Yeah.
So we're going to start. So in order for me to give Bridget tips about our business from a marketing side, just share with us about your business, what you're doing. Just give us some details.
So I do workshops, not really so much, but I do obviously the Zoom, and I do coaching, and it's all around people who are in a position where they're saying, I want to make changes. So maybe it's finding their purpose, like what it is they actually want to be doing. Maybe the career that they have been doing, they actually realize after lockdown they really want to get out of it, and they want to know what else they're able to do. So it's finding their purpose. It's managing their own anxiety, managing their own stress, and basically looking at what is not working for you currently within yourself because of the conversations you have with yourself, and then being coached around making those changes and taking responsibility. So the things that I do this podcast. I've written a course on finding your purpose. I do a podcast with a client of mine in Germany every Friday. I have a monthly newsletter. I do a bi-weekly networking event. It was once a month. I've now changed it to bi-weekly because I prefer the half an hour to an hour because it's a great place for us all to interact. So that's what I'm doing. So for me, it's really about sourcing out people who are wanting to put the work in to make the change for things that they don't like about themselves, not about other people, but about themselves.
Okay, so one of the most important thing in marketing, and that's it's like part of the foundation of marketing and how you actually going to start to know if you market yourself the right way or not, it's to define your target audience, okay, your target market. We cannot go from point A to B if we don't know what's in point B. So we need to understand as much detail as we can about our target audience. So can you share with me a bit more about who you're targeting?
So I would say it's generally, I would have thought it was both men and women. Generally, I'd say it's women between the ages of about 35 to about 55 who have possibly been working in a company and who got to a point where they are at a crossroads. So they're at a crossroads either because maybe they're having not a midlife, because that makes it sound like a negative, but maybe they've got to a point where they've been doing the same thing for a long time, and they're questioning so many things around their purpose, around their career, around where they want to live, around where they want to be, and they're questioning their situation. They believe in spending time and money on themselves. They are educated people. What I mean by educated is they've been employed, and maybe they've got a degree or a diploma, but they are people who believe in education. Education definitely a value. Possibly family people, married, and location-wise is not relevant at all. I mean, especially now, if they could live anywhere in the world. Yeah.
So I really loved how you define your target audience. And this is one of the ways that you need to do it. And a lot of people are missing out in that part. They don't have as much information as they can about them. But now that you know a lot about them, it will be easier for you to understand where you can find them from the different social media platforms, and how to engage with them, how to communicate with them, when to communicate with them, what's the different messages you need to use, um, and exactly what's the different tools else that you can use. So you said that you're using now. Which social media platforms are you using for your business?
I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook. Yeah, those are the only two. Yeah. I mean, it's not social media, but I have got a meetup group, a professional personal development. I've got a meetup group on Meetup Cape Town. I don't know if that kind of is part of it, but those, yeah. So LinkedIn and Facebook are my two main social
So
medias. Yeah.
Facebook and LinkedIn are very different, and they're both reaching out to two different type of people.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you engage on LinkedIn is very different to the way you engage on Facebook. Are you using the same messages, or are you separating between the different platforms?
Separate. So the videos that I do go onto Facebook. And then if I do shorter ones, then they can go onto, depending on what we cover, what's discussed, they can go onto LinkedIn, but I don't have many videos on there at all. It's more about blogging. So I've got a lot of blogging on there. I've got a lot of information on there, and my message there is it's very different. Yeah. The one is, kind of sort of lighter and, lighter, whereas the LinkedIn one is more serious. I don't know if that's the right way of explaining it, but it's definitely a different way of communicating. Yeah.
So the thing that you need to start using more in LinkedIn is actually you engage and you show, of course, more of content that's like a blog or things like this. But also, are you using the different groups over there to engage?
No.
So on LinkedIn, you also have groups. And you need to find the right groups where your target audience is spending its time, and then start engaging in these groups and answering people's questions. Ask questions, communicate with them. So you create your own kind of community on LinkedIn. And that's what people not really know about LinkedIn, about this part of the groups. So use it in order to get more and more yourself out there, as well as on Facebook. Facebook as well got different groups. So what I would recommend to you is not only just post content here and there on Facebook and LinkedIn, but also find in both of them the different groups where you can actually join and start having conversation, start answering people's questions. Now, someone wrote something about like, I feel like anxiety. Like, do you feel the same now during the corona? You can just write down and say like, listen, I hear you. You can maybe do this. You can maybe just share your knowledge, and then you building yourself, then you helping them to understand that you're an expert in that part of the personal development, and they can come to you. And then you also come with different questions. So that's the important part, and that's the one thing that people are not using enough, the different social media platforms. And especially in Facebook and LinkedIn, the groups are so strong. And if you actually work in this group and spend time and engaging, and you can tell yourself, I'm going to do like half an hour in the morning, then I'm just looking at this group and writing the comments, and half an hour at night before I go to sleep and I answer these questions. Then you will start having relationship. People will start coming to reach out to you, and they'll come and ask questions. And that's the nice thing. And that will help you to bring more people to the meetup group that you've got. Through that, you will also be able to bring more people to your newsletter. And that's my second question. How do you actually bring people to sign into your newsletter?
Well, I mean, at the moment, I asked people before I sent it out to them. So I've got about 1,040 or something like that who have subscribed. And then when you go onto my website, as you go onto it, you click onto it, and this thing comes up with monthly tips. And then you can put in, if you choose to, you can put your email address in. So that's how I do the newsletter. And then what people do is they share it, and then people subscribe. So that's how I think also with the newsletter, you've got to be so mindful of the act of privacy and people's rights to not receive it and to unsubscribe. And that's so important, because I know there's a strict policy around that as well.
Yeah, but either way, if someone subscribe, it can still unsubscribe himself.
Yeah.
So that's not
Yeah.
a problem.
Mm.
Okay, out of the three options, which one's gonna bringing you more results? Like
I would
you.
say, well, I would say at the moment, I think it's a little bit of every. It's going to sound crazy, but it's kind of a little bit of it's a little bit of everything. In addition to that, because I do some freelance work for Say Yes as a transition specialist, which is a form of personal development, where I'm working with mentors and mentees in their transition process, the transition planning. That also just kind of gets my name out there. So I think that it literally is a little bit of everything and being very consistent in my message. It's all around personal development. It's not a question of what it is. But I love your tip around the groups because I've never ever thought of that. Love that. I'm definitely going to do that. Yeah.
So the groups are very important, but I'll give you another tip on how to increase the numbers of subscribers to your newsletter, and on top, and actually giving them something that they will want to be there. So one of the things to do, and this is something I'm doing, and I'm doing it in order to get my list here in South Africa and in Israel and other people as well. What you do is that you give a gift. So for example, I made a branding checklist. So I did a nice design. There's a checklist. You know exactly what you need to follow for that. If you want to download it, you need to subscribe to my newsletter. And that's how you attract people. So you can design a landing page very easily and nicely to MailChimp or you do it for free. And then you add that file in there. And now everyone who want to download it, they need to subscribe. So if they're very interested, they will do it. If at one point they don't want to be in your newsletter, they can unsubscribe themselves. So there's not a problem. But that's a nice way and an easy way to attract lots of people. So I can say I've done now for a group in Israel, and in 1 week we got almost 400 people signing in just to get that file.
That's amazing.
Yes. So I would recommend that, especially because this is the different tools you use for your business. If you're counting a lot about the newsletter, that's going to help you to build yourself and make you as an expert, as a guru. That's a great way for you to establish it even more by giving something. And like I said, that someone recently say, I carry your checklist of the social media platforms and I keep it with me all the time. It's here on my desk. That's the nice thing. It's going to be there for them as a reminder. They're going to link it to you all the time. And you're going to get them into your newsletter. And that's the nice thing. And they will share it with others. So basically, it's going to move from one place to another. And then you're going to increase your exposure to your brand as well. So that's a nice way to do it. It's free. It's not going to cost you anything. You can sign into Canva and design it by yourself very quickly. You can even like add it to the existing one of your newsletters. Say like to the people that already signed in, I'm giving you for free like this tips on this or this checklist on how to calm yourself down, for example. And then on the other hand, you send it to in a landing page or, post it even on social medias and just bring the people to you. The easy way to do it with a landing page is because you also can see the numbers of how many people clicked in, got inside, and you get the list over there as well. So that's the nice thing. And then you use the Facebook groups and the LinkedIn groups to share it there. And then you more about you. That's the nice thing. I always say when you even try to be in the different social media platforms and all your marketing activities, there's something called in marketing the 360 degrees. You need to have the full cake. Every part of the puzzles need to be together and all tell the same story. That's consistency with the message. That's consistency with what you do. And you're just repeating yourself in different ways, and then you bring them to you. But they know exactly what they're going to expect from you. So now if you take these two things, you can increase your exposure and get more potential exposure to more potential clients and get them to become your clients. So it's even two simple things that you can do now of joining different Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups, engaging there, building relationships there, becoming the expert, just answering the question. And a lot of people say, like, why do you give so much information for free? I give it for free because either way you can find it online.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and I think the whole thing is the big thing is around building the trust and building the relationship. So when you give things for free, you are building that relationship. And if you want to know more, like for me to know more about marketing, to get into a more detailed plan, I would then pay you. I would come to you and you would, as a, a consultant, and you would, I'd pay you for your time, and you give me a proper marketing strategy. So I think that's very different from giving somebody 5 or 6 tips, because tips they're not going to, they don't give you the full information. They just kind of touch base on the basics.
It is, and that's the nice thing. Like, especially if people come from the coaching side, don't be afraid to share your knowledge, share the tips. Just give as much as you can and just share it. The thing is that what you do with the sharing is that you're showing that you've got the knowledge, you know what you're talking about, you're building relationships, you're gaining their trust, and then you also, in a way, creating a certain gap, right?
Absolutely,
And that's what you need to do. Because bottom line, some people will be the kind of person. So let's say I decide I want to do YouTube. I'm the kind of person that, because of my knowledge and expertise, I can watch videos by myself and get it done. But most people cannot. So they will need to do a course for this. And that's what those coaches and consultants are counting on. So they're sharing with you as much as they can. Well, that's how they're supposed to, and that's the best way to do it. And then you will feel at one point that you need the help, and then you're going to reach out. And that's a nice thing. It doesn't mean that, let's say, as I said, if you're engaging now in the different groups on Facebook and LinkedIn, maybe someone just going to ask more question, but now it's already going to contact you. But you can have a friend that comes and say, you know what, there's this lady that always answers my question. You need to reach out to her. She can help you in personal development. She can help you in marketing. That can be you. And that's how you build it. They become your ambassadors. And that's what you want to do. So use the social media platforms to build your own community, to build yourself as an expert, as a guru, and take it.
Yeah, one thing I do want to say in line with that, though, is that one of the worst things I personally believe that anybody can ever do. I think there was 2 people yesterday that must have sent me, well, not me, a whole bunch of us. They advertise as whatever, they're selling chairs or whatever they're selling, I don't even know. And they go onto every single platform and they share it. Now, honestly, whether you're selling chairs, whether you're selling coaching, whether you're selling marketing, whatever you're selling, that for me has to be like the salesperson when you walk into the shop and they just want you to buy everything. It's just the worst thing to ever do. So I think if people are wanting to know, just to kind of wrap up with us where we're at now, I think if people are wanting to know more about how to manage their social media marketing correctly, definitely to come and talk to you, because it's not just about being an irritation of posting, because that's annoying. They need somebody like you as an expert who can go, okay, well, this is how you do it. This is how you put it together, that you build a relationship and not irritate people. So that would be my recommendation to people. Yeah, for sure.
But that's the thing, and I'll sum it up. But really, if you look at a business, first understand who you're targeting. And I love the way you describe who you're targeting, because you really can see that you can imagine that person. And most people cannot. And most people trying to do the spaghetti on the wall. To just throw it. If it's going to catch, it's going to catch. If not, never mind. It doesn't work like that if you want a sustainable business. So discover who you're targeting. Find us as much as you can, and then find where you can actually engage with them. And that's the thing. Don't be everything to everyone. And I like that you chose 2 social media platforms for your business as a coaching. But I would also recommend that after you getting to a place where you're happy and satisfied from Facebook and LinkedIn, I would recommend you to check other platforms as well. Because, for example, Instagram can be a nice one for you if you're sharing certain tips and posts. YouTube can be a nice one if you're doing all the videos.
Oh, yeah, I've got YouTube. Sorry, I've got YouTube.
See, and that's what people don't know. And a lot of people are trying to be everywhere. They're trying to do all the social media platforms at the same time without understanding each and every one of them. On top, they're having the same message, repeating it all the time instead of building it the right way. So I can say, yes, I'm in different social media platforms, but what I put on Pinterest, I don't put on Facebook and I don't put on Instagram. On Instagram and Facebook, I do similar things, but it's still not fully the same. And I've got the YouTube and I'm doing the stuff. So, and I also have LinkedIn, but this is not my main focus. So I'm not really fully touching it. But everyone needs to do what's right for him. And for you, if you know that your target audience is in two of these platforms, so use it and then figure it out at the second phase. Do you actually need more? But I do recommend find yourself, make a gift, and just give it with a landing page. You do it for free, and you're going to increase the numbers of that. And also, people can take it with them. So that's going to be a nice thing to carry and to remember your brand.
Brilliant. Thank you. That's great. Thank you very, very much. And we will be back on Friday on tips around personal development and marketing.
Yes, and if you want a session with us, like this live on marketing and personal development, find your details here below, or just send us a private message and we will give you free tips on your business. And if you want, you can either be live with us here in the camera or in the comments. So if you want free tips, contact us. So you're going to say, enjoy the rest of the week.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for doing your business with us, and good luck with everything.
Yeah.
We'll see you on Friday. Bye.